going to look at the scalar or the dot product. So I've opened up a 1D page and put it with equal aspect, and I'm going to put in the line x minus 2y is equal to 6. And then if I label that using the text box, just change that to line and OK. I'm going to put in a vector starting at the origin, so I need to put a point at the origin, and then if I right click and select vector, and I want it to be 1 minus 2, so for the coefficients of the line, and OK. Now we can see that this vector here goes across 1 and down 2, and the line goes across 2 and up 1, so they're perpendicular to each other. Now I'm going to use my calculator just to get the length of that, or the magnitude of that vector. So I'll put some text in, so magnitude of vector u equals, and if I select that, I want the magnitude of that vector. And I'll OK that. And I'm also going to label that, so I'm going to show the label, and it's labelled as u. I'm going to put a point onto the line, so select the point mode and then hover over, and then we've got a point. I want a vector as well that joins up the origin to this point. It's a vector, and I'm going to show the label on that vector as well. So we've got vector v. Now, if we have a look at the angle between them, so I've select the two vectors and create an angle, and I'm going to leave unchecked the allow reflex and OK. And it's probably better to have it in degrees. I'm going to change that to degrees. So we've got the angle in there. Now I'm going to use my calculator to work out the scalar product. So just write that in, scalar product equals. Now my calculation will be, well, it's going to be 1 multiplied by the x component for vector v plus minus 2, so minus 2 times by the y component for vector v. And OK, so we've got a scalar product of 6 there, so I'll just put that label down there. Now if we move this point along, we can see that the scalar product is always 6 there. Now if we think of the scalar product as being the magnitude of u multiplied by the component of v in the u direction. So that's going to be along this line, because these two are perpendicular. The component must be along that line. So I'm going to just put in a line there, so a straight line, and then if we get the intersection of those two lines, so if I go to my intersection mode and hover over, and then we've got the intersection point there. Now if I put in a vector between those 2 points, or I could just do a line segment, but if I do it as a vector, and then I'm going to use my calculator to get the magnitude of that vector. So magnitude of, I call it component, equals, and then I need, if I can select my magnitude for w, so it's labelled it w, and then OK. So I've got my component of v there, which is along this line in the direction of u. So now if I work out the product of these two, so if I get my calculator again, I've got the result from here multiplied by the result from here, and I could put that as just being product equals, and then OK. So we've got it equals 6, which is our scalar product. And then again, if I move that anywhere along this line, I've always got a product of 6 because u is fixed and the component along in the u direction of v is always the same length.